What's up, everybody? Welcome to WFSO Reaction. It's Tuesday, 420, and everybody I know lighting it up and being dumb at the same time, only because like I probably would be the one that be taking all the milk and cookies just because you wouldn't notice. But anyways, it was a video that I was looking for that was seeing for like the past couple of days, although the video was out in a couple of weeks. So I thought I was going to do it today, but I couldn't find it. So I found this one that was released like I think it was a few hours ago. This was released. So it's 10 reasons why WWE Raw is unwatchable. So they might have some good points on here. So this will be my first time watching this with you guys, or you can check it out with I can't ever get their name right. Piana Productions. So yeah, crazy enough that so Planana Product Productions, they mostly talk about wrestling. So interesting. I think I react to a video of theirs before. Um, you want like wrestling content as well as my channel? Check out theirs as well. So lo and behold, let's get with the video. Hmm.
I tried watching.
Let's redo it.
I tried watching Raw
There we
last
go.
night, and I couldn't because it was just so bad and boring that I had to change the channel before I literally went to sleep. I think I can speak for a lot of people when I say that all three of WWE's brands right now are at an all-time low when it comes to
Not
the
really.
product's quality. SmackDown
Not
was
really.
getting a little bit better in the beginning of the year, but now it's becoming boring again, just like Monday Night Raw. However, I
No,
can
it's
still
not.
watch SmackDown and finish an episode, but I can't say the same thing about WWE Raw. I actually had a hard time getting through 30 minutes last night, like I said before, knocking out. Raw has truly become totally unwatchable. WWE is consistently giving viewers such a bad show that should not be consumed by a consumer. This is why I think it is at an all time low today. So, in today's video, I'm going to give you 10 reasons why I think Raw sucks and has become unwatchable. 10, 3 hours.
Ain't nothing wrong with 3 hours.
Monday Night Raw is a hot topic amongst many wrestling YouTubers, including myself. We've all said this in the past, but the bottom line is that the third hour of Raw absolutely killed and destroyed the show. After it died, they took those ashes of Raw, they ate it, they pooped, they pissed on it. That's what I'm trying to say. It's so bad. It was never the same ever since they changed. Raw should not be 3 hours long right now. It should have never been changed. You know, the company doesn't have good enough content that can make up 2 hours of the show. What makes you think that?
Okay, hold on. I got something to say about that. Hold on. Let me get this ad out and let me pause this video for a second.
Think that adding an extra hour would make it better. It only makes it a more difficult task for the writers. 3 hours of Raw wasn't a bad idea when they first introduced it, when looking back, honestly, because their brands weren't split up. But now that you have half of the top stars moving over to SmackDown, Raw is in serious trouble. The worst part about Raw being 3 hours long is that it's never going to change. WWE will not lose that revenue for the quality of the show. And most of us probably would not do the same thing either if we were in that position. In a way, I would say that money ruined Raw because it allowed Raw to be 3 hours. You know what I mean? Number nine.
Okay, like more content from Monday Night Raw is good, but I do agree to what he's saying at some point that they need to do more. Like if you got this big roster, like feature more of this roster than repeating with the same guy you see at the beginning of the show, then all the way down to the middle or end of the show, feature that guy or girl again. That time could be taken for like anybody else, especially the people they fired and stuff. The people that you got sitting around not doing nothing right now. That time can go to them. It's like you really don't need to see, like, not to say nothing bad about Drew McIntyre, but it's like you can only need to see him like in a match. That's it. You don't need to see him talking, then talking again, then talking, then have a match. Nobody don't need to see that. He can just talk and have his match. That's it. You need to put in more. You got like a lot of people in the back. Use them. Cause it seems like they more worried about ratings. If they were worried about ratings, they would have changed it long time ago when they was at like at their lowest when they was like 1.4 or 1.2 million viewers. They would have changed that already, but they haven't. And like Vince McMahon knows what he's doing to a certain point, but for one, he got to go. Sorry to say this, but yeah, I agree that he needs to go. And two, you need younger, fresh faces to write for you. And three, creative writing need to step up and say, like, tell Vince, this is bad. This is not wrong. And not be afraid to be fired. Say what what the people are saying, that what your ideals are no longer should be valid and it's not good anymore. Change it.
You know one thing that they've stopped doing? Remember I used to get the fan council?
Yeah, you don't even get the fan
No.
council anymore. Or they just lower their
They've stopped doing it.
oh, they stopped doing it, period.
Yeah. That
Probably
was good because we used to get them after every pay per view and then odd times during the month
right.
where you used to be able to say your piece. You put all the blankets up there.
I'll fix that.
You used to be able to say your piece and everything about the pay per views, what you wanted to see, what you didn't want to see.
Right.
And I think Vince seriously needs to do a town hall style meeting with fans, with a selection of fans,
Mm-hmm.
and listen to them.
Right.
The writers have no fucking clue, seriously, because it's like this whole. My opinion, when it comes to like the storyline with Randy Orton and Bray
Oh,
Wyatt and that lot, okay,
yeah.
I get that it had to end at some point, but we're kind of left like, what happened?
Exactly.
There was no real conclusion to it.
Right. It was like last week they had Bray Wyatt on talking about we don't trust Alexa Bliss or
Right.
whatever. But
Okay, but then do something between the two of them.
right, which they didn't do yesterday.
Right. And but to me they could have kept it up with him coming back and Alexa Bliss for a bit longer.
Right.
Where perhaps she's the cause of him losing several matches, not just the one against Randy Orton.
Right.
You
See,
know,
they need us. They need us.
but they need us as in not us. They need us as in the fans who watch,
Right.
who have watched for generations. That's what they need to come up and say these things. We're not saying we want to see Bray Wyatt against Randy Orton every week, but have her with Bray Wyatt and perhaps causes him to lose his matches. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because now it's just like, okay. And she could still come out and do her shit with the female wrestlers, with Bray Wyatt with her.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be like, well, she's winning all of hers. Why isn't he winning? You know, we know why he isn't winning because of her.
Right.
And then it could turn into something. If you wanted them to kill off her character, so to speak, is to do something, you know, in regards to him trying to gain back He was the one who created her,
Mm-hmm.
so he could be the one to destroy her.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then it could be done.
Yep.
Have her
Exactly.
taken out by ambulance and all this lot, yada yada yada, but don't end it the way it did.
Right.
Like we got this whole thing with who were the ones who had all the masks on all the time?
Oh, retribution.
That could have been absolutely amazing. They didn't know how to handle it. But what they needed to have done is spoken to these big factions from over the years. Speak to NWO, speak to DX. They knew how to work as a big group,
Mm-hmm.
do their individual things, yet work together.
Right.
And that is what's needed. And yes, some of them are going over. Obviously, it seems to MVP's lot and everything. But what does that do if you've only got one?
One faction.
Yeah, you needed the other ones.
Yep.
You needed the other ones. And, you know, yeah, split them up after a while. But come on, for months, we were led to believe this great almighty thing was going to happen. And it just went. It's like they get to a point. It's like when you're watching a really good movie. It gets to a certain point and you think, this is going to be it. This is going to be it. And it's
Right.
like, the end. Like, and you look at what the hell did just happen? That's how WWE is going right now. They know how to reach the peak, but they don't know how to tell it out. And that's the sad thing because we've seen so many good things happen where they go up and then you slowly end something.
Right.
Yeah, the whole thing with Bray Wyatt and that lot had to come to an end at some point. But don't just cut it off the way it did. You could make her the cause of him losing matches.
And they could have kept on going with that feud too,
Right.
if they wanted to.
But I mean, you could have even had it twisted where they're trying to get Randy Orton to become part of them.
Right.
Well, then it turns around that Randy Orton then ends up controlling Alexa Bliss and takes her away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could slowly have her become this powerhouse in the women's division, the same as he is in the men's.
Right.
But they just kind of ended it, and we're all of us, when we saw that match, we're like, we're looking, this is going to be a great one. The entrance was amazing. The Jack in the Box thing was great.
Right.
Her coming out the way she did with the black ooze was great. But then for it to just die, it was like, what happened? Where do we go from here? And now it's like, okay, we're done. Thank you, move it. It's like, what?
You're kind of mainly saying that they don't know how to end storylines.
They bring it to a peak.
Yeah.
Of where you really got everybody's interest, and then they're like, "Ian, thank you, goodbye. We'll start something new next week," and you're left like, "The hell happened?"
Right. It is just ridiculous for them, do that, and plusly, like, there's like a whole bunch of unfinished storylines that they just ended just like that, and just like, wait, what was supposed to happen? Like, seriously. But like, overall, that's just it. They just need to, know how to stop ending things so quickly and if keep good things going. Which and another thing is like there's rumors out there that he hates tag teams, which is kind of stupid. And they tried doing that when the draft happened. They got rid of the tag titles, and like, but you had like tag team wrestling. Like, how that makes sense? Just more. Oh no, we're gonna touch more stuff about this later. So let's just see what else reasons that Raw's unwatchable.
Last minute changes. A well booked 3 hour show could possibly work. I don't know, maybe, but we would never know because Raw is consistently making last minute changes to the script and matches. There are even times when the writers are actually coming up with segments and matches while the show is on the air. That is just crazy and wild to think about. Just imagine that insane environment. Imagine having the task of the most impossible job in the world. It makes Raw come across as very sloppy, rushed, and it even experiences a lack of logic because of this. For instance, WWE announced Braun Strowman versus Randy Orton,
Yep.
which would have been their first ever encounter. WWE then changed that match to Randy Orton versus Matt Riddle, and then Drew McIntyre teamed up with Braun Strowman to take on T-Bar and Mace, and then T-Bar and Mace had their mask removed. Like, how did we get from Braun Strowman versus Orton all the way to unmasking T-Bar and Mace? I just don't get it. It was a disaster that didn't make too much sense. This is a trend that happens often on Raw. Number 8,
Well, yeah, I get what they saying. Like they changed, but I didn't know they was changing matches during the show, which is kind of stupid. It's like keep the product you got on. I understand. Like, hold on, I can understand when things happen when maybe talent ain't there or didn't make it. You had to change something the last minute. That I can understand, but changing it during the show, it's like you're not helping your product none, and it's just sad. Didn't even know I didn't even know they do that during the show that they change matches like that. That I didn't know.
rinse and repeats. If you watch one episode of Raw, you've essentially watched Raw for the entire year because everything is just rinsed and repeated. The amount of rematches we see on a weekly basis has gotten to the point where it makes it hard to watch for consistent viewers. Like, honestly, you guys are beasts. Those 1.5 million viewers who watch every week, you guys got to be doing something crazy if you're actually consuming Raw. It's so hard to watch because it's practically the same thing every single week. In the last 2 weeks, the Viking Raiders defeated Cedric Alexander.
Okay, before he go on, them viewers could be us that's watching it and judging it from what it is, like saying it was it good or not. So those viewers could be us that's watching it. Because it's like we got to get our like information and stuff and like talk about how we like the product, how we don't like the product. That's like the like actual fans, like the viewers can't. They're the only ones that can make the change and like stop watching it. But then again, maybe that's the only thing that's on, and like other networks and stuff are not putting a lot of stuff on. But I love like there's The Voice and there's American Idol on Mondays. There's um I can't even think of the other shows that's on Mondays because like you get stuck watching Raw and you thinking like, but then again, there's like other cable shows that goes on too. Like used to be Pimple Popper or the Thousand Pound Sisters or things like that. That would keep like people's interest. But what more can you say? Like there's nothing that's worth challenging to like watch on Monday nights. Just Raw. So I can't blame like us as like journalists and podcasters and all that stuff, like watching it because so we can judge it and say like this happened, this shouldn't have happened, or things like that. But for the like other fans that just watching or have nothing to watch, maybe that's it. They have nothing else to watch and Raw's only on. And plus, like they're family oriented. Maybe like the family and kids like what's going on, but some of us don't. But some of us may be trying to get back to where it like used to be great, like in 1997 and stuff like that. Like, although it was great before then, But I guess some of us got that mentality of like the Attitude Era should come back, and I don't think there's no gonna be no Attitude Era like that ever again. But they can probably come close to it, but not like anything like that. But and then in today's world, you got like sensitive people that's like when they try something, they're gonna whine and complain.
What they need to do is, to, in my opinion, they need to combine the Attitude Era, like some of the things that worked really well in the Attitude Era, with some of the things going on that they are doing already. But what
Gotcha.
they need to do is they need to speak to some of the wrestlers who are in tune with what's going on, like the wrestlers who get out there and talk to fans and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I do agree with that.
Gander and Shelton Benjamin in a tag team match twice, 2 weeks in a row. There's not even a developing story about this feud or anything like that. They've literally just beat them each week for no reason. The matches are pointless and repetitive. Number 7, firing Paul Heyman. I've said this before and I will always mention it. I think when Paul Heyman was running Raw, it was low key pretty entertaining. I was interested in the storylines and even sometimes would watch Raw because they would put on a good show at times. I even made a video way back in 2020 explaining how Paul Heyman saved Raw. Despite this, WWE still fired him from his job and replaced him with Bruce Pritchard. That was easily the worst idea ever, and it essentially destroyed Raw. The company hasn't been able to recover ever since, and that was just another reason for the downfall of Monday Night Raw.
I agree with that.
6, ruining.
This is what I want on tape, so they're not smiling. As a teenager, I carried a camera with me everywhere I went. This is the first time I'm watching the tapes back. What happens once I unlock the vault?
Winning things.
Okay, before we get to that one, I do agree with the Paul Heyman firing because it was making it a little bit more interesting, which is true. And they gave it to Bruce Pritchard, which is now like doing both shows. But I don't know how like one show is better than the other.
WWE ruins a lot of things. We can admit that. A lot of ruining, though, does take place on Monday Night Raw instead of SmackDown or NXT. Here are some things that were ruined in the past year. The Hurt Business is the first thing I gotta mention that Raw ruined. The group was easily the best thing about Raw, and then
Yep.
WWE went right ahead and ruined them by separating the group and then having them lose the tag team titles, and they pretty much are jobbers at this point.
Tag team.
The team even went on to have these guys lose 2 times, like I said earlier.
Shelton and Cedric losing the tag titles. I can understand why they did it because it was like all explained. But splitting them up, I do agree that they shouldn't have split them up. Like maybe Shelton or Cedric could have went for the United States title, and just like trying to keep that stable going. So I do agree with them why they shouldn't have split them up, but I don't agree with them like saying they shouldn't lose the tag titles because I saw where they was going with it, and just when you seen, as soon as you see like New Day won it, then AJ Styles and almost came out, you're like, okay, I see where this going. So not upset. No, I wasn't upset that they lost it. So I don't know.
The Viking Raiders, which I wouldn't really say they're jobbers yet, but you know what I mean. They're just losers at this point. Outside of that, Retribution was ruined on Raw
Yup.
as well.
Yup.
First arrived, it was a cool concept. Even having Mustafa Ali as their leader was a good idea, in my opinion. They still got ruined though. Also, when you look at someone like Braun Strowman, he's
Yep.
with the Big Show, flip flopping back and forth between a babyface and heel role. He doesn't even know what he is at this point.
Right.
And although I would disagree, a ton of other people feel like The Fiend is ruined as well. As you can see, if you are a WWE superstar, I think it's safe if you stay away from Monday Night Raw. Number 5, the worst promos. Most of the promos in WWE are pretty bad, but I would say that Raw is even worse than SmackDown when it comes to this, just because Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, Jey Uso, then you have Daniel Bryan, and then you have Edge. They put on some good promos in the last few months. But on Raw, you cannot say the same thing. It feels a bit more scripted, and most of the promo work is just bad. There's a video of a promo with Rhea Ripley going around on the night after WrestleMania where Rhea sounds like a complete robot, and that's how a majority of their promos feel. If you need another example of a bad promo, take a look at the Christmas story stuff with The Miz that he was doing during that AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre feud. It was just boring, uninspired, passionless work. Number 4, Adnan Vert, or however you say his name, I'm not too sure. Raw got a new commentator, and even he sucks. I understand that we should probably give him a few more months to adjust to
Yeah.
WWE,
Yeah.
but what was the point of getting rid of Samoa Joe for this and whatever his name is, this Vert dude, this new commentator? That is a pretty odd choice. That makes Raw even worse. And honestly, you had a ton of other people they could have brought in this position as well. It just doesn't make sense why they would bring and Adnan, whatever his name is. Number 3, the tag and women divisions. The Raw women's and tag team division are both pretty non-existent, and WWE clearly doesn't focus on either divisions when it comes to Monday Night Raw. You could honestly say the same thing about SmackDown, but at least the SmackDown women's division is good. Their tag team division, not so much, but on Raw, it's also the women's division. When Asuka was the champion, it was probably the worst reign ever, and a lot of people are talking about that online because it's true. We all wanted Asuka as a champion, and WWE failed to deliver a good reign for her, which kind of sucks. And for the tag team division, AJ Styles and Omos did win it, and I'm pretty hyped for that, but they haven't even showed up on Raw in the last 2 weeks.
Yep,
which
that's
is
true.
pretty odd. Number 2, Kevin Dunn. One of the worst things about Raw is the guy that is mainly running everything behind the scenes right next to Vince McMahon, and that man is Kevin Dunn. This guy should be fired immediately. He's the same guy who said that he did not like Becky Lynch because of her accent, and he's also the same guy that didn't like Billie Kay either because he didn't get her gimmick.
Yeah,
which
he's
I
dumb.
think was really great, and a lot of other people do think it was great as well. Who knows how much more damage he is doing to Monday Night Raw? I would say that he's probably one of the big reasons why Raw is so bad and why SmackDown's bad and why NXT is bad, why every show is bad. Kevin Dunn overall needs to go. And number 1, it sucks the life out of you because it is boring. At the end of the day, I think that Raw is unwatchable because it's so boring that it literally sucks the life out of you. And that's how I felt when I was watching it last night. And if you feel that way about a show, then it is unwatchable. It is just downright bad. I don't think AEW is that great of a show either, but at least watching it, you get some enjoyment out of the botches. You know what I mean? You enjoy the goofiness going around. You enjoy that some things are really bad. But when it comes to Raw, it's just bad and boring, which is not a good mix. It's just bad. That's what I'm getting out of it. It makes you want to go to sleep. It makes you not want to be a wrestling fan. And that is how I truly feel about Raw. I honestly didn't expect to make this video today, but I just did because that is exactly how I felt as I was watching it last night. Let me know what you guys think of Monday Night Raw. Do you think it's unwatchable? Do you?
Okay, yeah, there's the video I was looking for. 10 reasons why fans stop watching WWE. So that was the one I was looking for, and I'm gonna click on that and probably do another video. But I'm going to save that video for tomorrow, so y'all can watch for that. But I wouldn't say that. I would say it's boring to a certain point. Um, like it gets your interest, but just like certain points, they just either they trying to shove it down your throats or they use people one time. Okay, they finally getting used. We'll see how this goes, and they don't use the other person just for them to end up to lose and don't be shown for like a long time. And with the Kevin Dunn thing, I do agree with he should be gone because he's like his like what Jay Uso says on his shirt, right hand man. That's what Kevin Dunn is. And he probably thinks like wherever Vince does or Vince says is good. He's not like stopping himself and he's like, yo, Vince, this is bad. We got to change this. Like that's not a good idea. He just like, yep, boss, that's a good one, boss. Yeah, I like that, boss. That's a good one. We should run with that, boss. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It just it's just awful. Like I said, some of us watch because that's what we talk about in our podcasts and YouTube videos and things like that. That's what we talk about is wrestling. So it's like we got to watch all wrestling just to, tell people, what we think is good, what we think is good, like our opinions. That's all it is just saying like our opinions. There could be people that, that don't agree with us, or like I said, there could be some people that saying, "Oh, Raw's fine." I'd rather watch, Raw than anything anyway. There's some people that think like that, but I just think that they do need to let go of Kevin Dunn. That's true. I just hope they, maybe with these ratings going down the tube, but then again, when the ratings went down the tube, they didn't change anything. And when they claimed they said they was going to listen to the fans at that one point, and I think it was a few years back, they didn't. um, it just, I just don't get it. It just something. Ouch. Yeah, while I was on, but anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. It's just like you get to the idea, you like, oh, I did something like with me, my mental health, like I can get easily distracted by other things, and I know I need to work on that. But anyways, they really need to do something. Something's got to give because there's going to be at one point. Let's just say if AEW moves to Mondays at some point, or with MLW, they're going to be they got a network deal with Vice TV. And I did talk about that on my I think I talked about that on yesterday's um aftermath. So you get a chance to check out WFSO aftermath yesterday's show. Check that out because I was talking about that about MLW getting like a TV deal. But MLW could move to Mondays, and people probably said, "Oh, that's better to watch than WWE Raw." SmackDown, I always say that SmackDown was always the A show for me anyway, because it's like with Raw, it was like too much controversy and I mean like favoritism and seemed like they picked this person, they picked that person. It just it was bad. Like it was bad, like in from 2002 through 2004 for me. But I guess I watched it anyway because I was loyalty to WWE at the time, and like at the time, it wasn't much like going on. So I guess that's just me being young and didn't know any better. But anyways, like this video, you give it a like. Check out Piano Productions. Um, give them give them a subscribe. Speaking of subscribe, also you can enter in our giveaway that we got going on. We're very close to 150. We're so close. We just really just need to get to 150 subscribers. when we get to 150 subscribers, I will announce the winner on a separate video of a Iron Hammer Funko Pop. So there's that, and also with 200 subscribers, I know I'm not expecting to get there anytime soon, but if it's a miracle, that'd be great. 200 subscribers will receive a Brewers T-shirt and a Brewers mask. I know this pandemic is like quarter of the way order. I'll just say quarter of the way over. People still need to mask up, like me. But anyways, all you got to do to enter in the giveaway is subscribe to this channel. For people that's already subscribed, thank you for subscribing and welcome to the channel. If it's your first time watching this, and comment on this video and comment on future videos until we get to 150. So the more you comment, the bigger and better chances you get to win the Iron Hammer Funko Pop and like other prizes we got like that's coming up too. Um, like I said, I'm gonna work with on Twitch to get something going on with them, so there will be more subscribers there as well. So, anyways, check our twitch.com/WFSO for like live just wherever we do live, we're just gonna do it live. But please subscribe and comment. Until the next video, everyone.